In the top stories, government of St. Kitts and Nevis secures EC $25 million in marina sale. Final autopsy confirms no trauma in Adriana Young's death, and U.S. judge blocks Trump's efforts to bar Harvard from enrolling international students. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday newscast. Today is Friday, the 30th day of May 2025, and I am Jasmine Thomas. The Prime Minister of St. Christopher and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, has confirmed that his government has secured nearly 25 million Eastern Caribbean dollars in direct payments to public institutions following the landmark sale of the Christophe Harbour Marina to Safe Harbour Marinas LLC. Delivering a national statement on Wednesday, Prime Minister Drew described the deal as a strategic correction of years of mismanagement. He said the direct payments will go towards settling long-standing debts and restoring financial order. Among the beneficiaries are the Social Security Board, which will receive just over 4.5 million EC dollars, SCELEC, which is set to get more than $2.4 million. Over 5.7 million will go to the Sugar Industry Diversification Fund, with other payments made to the National Bank and in outstanding taxes and stamp duties. Dr. Drew said the funds represent only part of the sale price, with Safe Harbour Marinas, now the world's largest marina operator, also committing to expand the marina by 40% and build a new desalination plant by November 2025. Calling it a powerful turning point, the Prime Minister declared that Christophe Harbour is set to become a vibrant investment zone and the leading yachting destination in the Caribbean. He reaffirmed his government's commitment to transparency, accountability, and people-first development. On May 28, St. Kitts and Nevis officially joined two major inter-American human rights conventions by depositing instruments of accession at the Organization of American States, OAS, the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities, and the Convention on Protecting the Human Rights of Older Persons. A ceremony at OAS headquarters, Permanent Representative Jacinth Henry Martin called the move a historic step in advancing dignity and inclusion. OAS Secretary General Albert Ramdin praised the action, emphasizing the importance of cooperation to protect the rights of both persons with disabilities and older adults. With this move, St. Kitts and Nevis joins a growing number of countries committed to eliminating discrimination and ensuring equal rights across the region. The official opening of the Nigeria St. Kitts and Nevis Exchange, along with the Business Expo and the International Friendly Football match, has been postponed. Minister of Agriculture, Sports and Creative Economy, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, confirmed the delay today, Friday, 30th May, citing unexpected technical issues with the aircraft transporting the Nigerian delegation. The event was said to mark a major milestone in the growing partnership between the two nations following the signing of two key agreements earlier this year, one focused on agriculture and the other on the creative economy. Minister Duggins said the delay is unfortunate but necessary. He reassured citizens and stakeholders that the momentum behind the exchange remains strong and that all planned activities will be rescheduled as soon as possible. He expressed heartfelt thanks to the local teams, entrepreneurs, artists, and citizens who have supported the initiative, highlighting the shared vision of deeper ties between Africa and the Caribbean. In a separate statement, the Nigerian delegation also expressed regret, reaffirming their commitment to building a strong transatlantic bridge for cultural and economic collaboration. A new date will be announced soon. On the regional scene, a second autopsy conducted on the body of 11-year-old Adriana Young has reaffirmed the initial post-mortem findings that there was no evidence of trauma with Dr. Carol Terry, Chief Medical Examiner of Gwinnett County, Georgia, describing the original autopsy as competently and thoroughly conducted. The body was embalmed and flown to Georgia, USA by Young's relatives in a bid to obtain a fourth opinion and an additional autopsy following the child's tragic death last month. In an interview with journalist Travis Chase, shortly after the examination on Thursday, Dr. Terry explained that her examination served largely as a quality control measure, acknowledging that the best opportunity to determine the cause of death was during the first autopsy, when decomposition was minimal and before embalming had occurred. She said, while she acknowledged that certain artifacts introduced during the initial postmortem limited the forensic value of her own assessment, Dr. Terry emphasized that the first autopsy was done correctly, competently, and thoroughly, and explicitly stated that no trauma was overlooked in that examination. Dr. Terry also agreed that the initial findings, there was no evidence of trauma and did not find no signs of struggle. However, she stopped short of confirming drowning as the definitive cause of death, noting instead that she would be reluctant to rule drowning due to the limitations of a second autopsy and the absence of supporting toxicology results provided to her directly. Drowning is a diagnosis of exclusion, she explained, stressing that such a conclusion requires the elimination of all other possible causes of death. Nonetheless, she did call for a thorough investigation, remarking that the surrounding circumstances of Adriana's disappearance and death were suspicious. That investigation, however, is already underway and has so far found no evidence of criminal involvement. Retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigator Mr. Leonard McCoshan, who was earlier engaged in the inquiry, also reported that there is no evidence of foul play by persons named or unnamed during the investigation. The autopsy found her lungs swollen and filled with fluid, a classic sign of drowning, and foam in her airways suggested she was alive when submerged. Notably, toxicology results showed no drugs and only trace ethanol levels, a byproduct of natural decomposition. DNA analysis detected no foreign genetic material, ruling out sexual assault or struggle, and her body showed no bruises, lacerations, or other injuries. The findings of both autopsies, however, converge on a central point. There is no evidence of trauma, sexual assault, or foul play. While Dr. Terry urged caution around ruling drowning in the absence of complete data available to her, her conclusion ultimately reaffirmed the professional integrity and accuracy of the first autopsy. On the international scene, a federal judge in the United States has extended a temporary restraining order on government efforts to bar Harvard University from enrolling international students. Judge Alison Burroughs held a hearing on the case Thursday morning. On May 22, the Homeland Security Department announced the revocation of Harvard University's certification under the Student and Exchange Visitor Program, effectively barring the university from enrolling international students. On the 23rd of May, Harvard University filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration over this policy. On the same day, Burroughs issued a temporary restraining order against the Trump administration's ban, requiring that the status quo be maintained until a hearing could be held. Before the hearing on Thursday, the U.S. Justice Department submitted a notice to the court. This document, dated 28 May, was issued by the Homeland Security Department to Harvard. The notice stated that the Trump administration would give Harvard 30 days to contest the policy. CNN reported that this move marked a shift in the administration's previously hardline stance on the issue following judicial intervention. At the same time, the Trump administration continued to exert pressure on Harvard. On Wednesday, Trump stated that the proportion of foreign students at Harvard should be limited to about 15%. Additionally, Trump reiterated his demand for the university to submit a list of its foreign students. And now for a look at the weather. Present weather is cloudy with showers in the vicinity. Winds are moderate from the northeast at 12 miles per hour. Seas are 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. The weather forecast for today predicts partly sunny and hazy skies with a 40% or moderate chance of passing showers. Tonight is expected to be partly cloudy and hazy with a 40% or moderate chance of passing showers. Sunset today will be at about 6:41 and the sunrise tomorrow morning will be at about 5:36. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jasmine Thomas. Grace be to you and peace be multiplied from God the Father.